Ranking D&D's new villainous subclasses, Part 2, the Circle of the Titan Druid. So, I don't think this really works as a villainous subclass per se, because the idea is basically you become a Titan to restore the natural order, kind of like what Godzilla is in the Godzilla movies. Um, so ultimately, you are a force for good, or at least nature still, and you're not necessarily a villain, but whatever, we'll let it slide. And I'm willing to let it slide because, as someone who grew up obsessed with dinosaurs, loves Godzilla, Jurassic Park, all of that, this is my jam. I'll be honest. I feel like they made this one for me. Uh, Start off, the spell list I think is terrible. I don't really like any of the spells that it gives you. But I would say that's the only part of this subclass that I think is quite weak. The rest is very. Essentially, this subclass lets you wild shape into one of three forms: um, a dinosaur Godzilla like creature, a kraken or leviathan like creature, or a giant insect. When you transform into it, you create a shockwave around you, which is cool. You can also change your damage type of your attacks, which doesn't really make sense to me, but whatever. 10th level, it goes from large to huge, and you're unaffected by difficult terrain. That's fine, not really very significant. You also get some new features for your chosen form. And then 14th level, you can become gargantuan instead. You can knock people prone, and you can swallow them. So yeah, that's all fine. I want to quickly go into the three differences between the behemoth. Is the Godzilla style one that gets siege monster and gets a breath attack. The Leviathan is the water based one. It can create like a poison ink cloud, and it has a toxic stench. I don't think thematically it's nearly as good as the behemoth. And then finally, there's the insectoid, which is just kind of generally a bit of a weird concept. It gets a fly speed. I guess it's meant to be like Mothra. It can basically use telepathy, and it gets a healing pollen. It's definitely the most out there of the three. If I was going to play this, I feel like I would only transform into the behemoth personally, but maybe that's just me. Tell me if I'm wrong. Overall, though, I think it's a pretty good subclass. There's a few features I don't really think thematically work that well, and I would say only one of the monsters is really thematic. But I am going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Personally, it would be my druid subclass of choice, though. I want to point that out. All right, stay tuned for the rest.